and a person on the top of a building, the building is on fire. So such physical things we consider as tight corners. The narrator was panic-stricken at this situation. He understood the seriousness. Now he was panic-stricken. These Barbizon pictures are those pictures which demonstrate nature, fields, flowers, trees, etc. Though he was in a mental tight corner, he understood something, that he should not leave that place without confessing what truth was. Hello students, I am Anil, Assistant Professor of English, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. In this session, we are going to look at an essay, Tight Corners by E.V. Lucas, for the students of BCA second semester. Before we get into the essay, let us know something about the writer. E.V. Lucas, his Edward Varela Lucas, was an English humorist, essayist, playwright, biographer, publisher, poet, novelist, short story writer, and editor. After becoming so much, he turned to journalism and worked on a local paper in Brighton and then on a London evening paper. He was commissioned to write a biography of Bernard Burton, the Quaker poet. This led to further commissions, including the editing of the works of Charles Lamb. Lucas joined the staff of the humorous magazine Punch in 1904 and remained there for the rest of his life. He was a prolific writer, most celebrated for his short essays, but he also produced verses, novels, and plays. So this is about E.V. Lucas. Now let us know what this essay, Tight Corners, is about. So what do you understand by this word, tight corners? So when somebody says tight corners, it means that in tough situation, where it says that the situation is so tight that escaping is somewhat too much difficult. So why is this title Tight Corners? So in the beginning of the essay, he was discussing some tight corner situations of human beings with his friend. So they say tight corners are always physical. What do you mean by tight corners are always physical? So he gives some examples. Soldiers in a war and a person on the top of a building, the building is on fire. So such physical things we consider as tight corners. And in this essay, he tries to explain this tight corner is not only physical, but sometimes it is psychological as well. So in order to explain what psychological tight corner is, he demonstrates an incident that happened in his life. So let us look at the summary of this essay in this session. In the humorous essay Tight Corners, E.V. Lucas points out that tight corners can be both mental as well as physical, but the mental tight corners are too difficult to bear. So he is comparing mental tight corners are greater than physical tight corners. Once the narrator went with his friend to Christie's, an art gallery and an auction sale hall, where Barbizon pictures were put up. These Barbizon pictures are those pictures which demonstrate nature, fields, flowers, trees, etc. So those kinds of pictures were kept on for sale, auction in Christie's. The narrator has neither knowledge about art pictures nor had enough money to participate in the bidding. So he did not know anything about that. He was with his friend and his friend they got into the auction hall. They were enjoying the process and they joined in. So what about the speaker here? The narrator has neither knowledge about the art, he did not know anything about art, and he did not have enough money to participate in the bidding process. He had only 63 pounds. He had only this much money left in the bank. He had no securities either. So there were no securities as well. So this man simply got into the auction hall and they joined in the process. The auction was started and the narrator, not understanding the seriousness, started raising the bid amount marginally. So here, just like some of us do, we simply get into the auctioning process and we simply call. So same thing happened in this situation. The speaker got into the bidding process, they simply raised the margin. By the time a Debingi picture was put on for sale, a rich man paid 4,000 guineas for it. So every bidding process started with 2 digits bidding, and they went on for sale beyond 3 digits, 4 digits amount. But when this picture was put on for sale, one of the richest persons in the region, he starts the bidding process by quoting 4,000 guineas for the picture. As usual, the narrator, just for fun, raised the bid by 50 guineas more. Now this man was having fun, our speaker was having fun. So what did he do? He simply rose 4,000 bidding to 4,050 guineas. Then what happened? Lucas thought that someone would raise the bid further, but to his surprise, nobody else bid after that. The speaker thought, okay, somebody else would call 50 more guineas for this and they would buy the picture. But for his surprise, what happened? Nobody called. The narrator was panic-stricken. At this situation, he understood the seriousness. Now he was panic-stricken. No doubt, he unwittingly got into a mental tight corner. So he is explaining this concept here. Now he did not have any escape route to come out of it. Now he understood that he was in a psychological tight corner, mental tight corner. He could not find ways as how to raise such a huge amount. Sensing the impending danger, his friend had already left the place. So now those two friends got into the place, but what happened when this situation appeared? The friend of the speaker, he simply disappeared, understanding the seriousness and danger which was there. Finally, the narrator decided to confess his foolishness to the auctioneer himself and get rid of the critical situation. So here we have to understand that though he was in a mental tight corner, he understood something, that he should not leave that place without confessing what truth was. So therefore he stayed there. And where did his friend go? His friend, he was in a corner of the auction hall. He was laughing at the situation of the speaker. Intermittently, luck favors someone. In this case also, the narrator is favored by the luck. Here, he was waiting to confess his real situation to the auctioneer. So that rectitude of this person brought him some luck. What luck was that? All of a sudden, the unexpected incident happened in the hall. At that time of critical condition, a rich bidder's agent approached the narrator and offered 50 guineas provided he passed on the art picture to the bidder. So the servant of the rich man, he came to the speaker, he came to the author and said, "Sir, if you could sell this picture to master, then he would give you 50 guineas. So that was his idea. The narrator was immensely relieved. He got so much relieved that, oh, somewhat I escaped the situation. He was about to weep in joy, so he became very emotional. He wanted to cry out of joy. Yet he had the presence of mind to demand 100 guineas in place of 50 guineas. So when this man offered 50 guineas, then he was calm. He understood the situation. With this situation, he wanted to make some more money. So he said, in place of 50 guineas, he would take 100 guineas. Yet he had the presence of mind to demand 100 guineas. When a check for that amount was given to him, his joy doubled. So when he got the check which said 100 guineas, he was in a happy situation. He goes to his friend, he tells everything that happened in the hall. Then his friend also could not believe something happened like this. So here the author is trying to explain what a mental tight corner is. Whenever think of this phrase, tight corners, we always come across physical tight corners. But here the author is giving an example of his own situation, which emphasizes the mental tight corner is greater than the physical tight corner. So with this, we come to the end of this essay, a short humorous essay, Tight Corners, written by E.V. Lucas. We shall meet in the next class. Thank you.